Everyone knows rocket sidearms are one of a kind. And this season, in this episode, this act, they released a brand new rocket sidearm called Apparent Action. And this thing feels like a beauty straight from Mr. Torg himself.
Explosions!
And I know I'm not the only person who loves explosions as much as Torg. So I crafted the ultimate one-of-a-kind, ultra-strong, super kaboom build to destroy the next piece of content you decide to run, regardless if it's a battleground or a GM. We're going to kick it off right away by covering the part of this build we just talked about, and that's Apparent Action. This solar rocket sidearm's perk pool is exactly what you want from any solar weapon. In the third column, you have perks like Strategist, Pugilist, Ambitious Assassin, and Heel Clip. And then the fourth column is where it gets fun. You have Demolitionist, Swashbuckler, Golden Tricorn, and Incandescent. Now, I'm sure you already see the god roll I'm going to be telling you to craft, because it is one of the best perk combos in Destiny history. But this build has two major focuses, so please be open to both craftable options and enjoy whichever one fits your playstyle better. The first roll is the obvious combo of Heel Clip and Incandescent. This is the Swiss Army knife roll that will be amazing for every single piece of content known to man. And look, I know no one has told you to use this combo yet, so you might be a little hesitant. But trust me, as the first person to ever suggest this roll, it's really good. And the second roll is a Pugilist Swashbuckler roll. This roll is going to put a much heavier focus on the melee aspects of this build. You'll be granted 10% melee energy per weapon kill on top of being given a stacking damage boost all the way up to 33% from either getting 5 weapon kills or a single melee kill. That is without a doubt the riskier option, but it's very high risk and high reward. Okay. Now that we covered the centerpiece of this build, let's go ahead and talk about the exotic armor piece that gives this gun a juicy damage buff, while also raining missiles down on your opposition. Or as the kids like to say nowadays, your ops. And before we cover what exotic is going to have your quote-unquote ops being bitches, we need to talk about some other weapon suggestions. Because of how rocket sidearms are treated as primaries, they benefit extremely from Special Ammo Finder. So I found myself running double special ammo consistently in this build. Whether it be a sniper like Supremacy or another rocket sidearm like the Call, as long as you're using your abilities enough, you will never have any ammo struggles. And in your power slot, you need a big old rocket launcher. And it is much more beneficial if it's a solar rocket. So do yourself a favor and equip one of the big 3 solar rockets in this build. Either Galley, Apex Predator, or Dragon's Breath. Oh, why is a rocket so necessary, you might ask? Hazardous Propulsion! Yeah, good old rocket titties here gives you the perk Danger Close, which gives your weapon precision hits or final blows the chance to load an Exodus rocket into your chest piece. Upon using your class ability, it will fire all loaded rockets, granting increased damage to your other rockets for a temporary time. This temporary increase can reach a maximum of 35% damage boost from hitting all 6 rockets. I could not think of a better exotic to make an explosion build. I mean, I already made a build with this exotic while using the Call, and I find myself returning to that build practically every month. But I have a strong feeling this build is going to take its place. Now that you know the power couple of this build, let's go ahead and cover our subclass. Oh, and yes, you're seeing it correctly. We're using Solar Titan. Solar, baby. Prismatic. Solar for the win. Solar Titan's the only good Titan. Let's go. Sorry, I'm just really excited to do a normal Solar Titan build again. I love Solar Titan. Okay, and for your super, it's going to be total preference, but Hammer of Soul is without a doubt the safer option. On your Barricade, you're going to want Rally for the shortest cooldown to allow you to fire your rockets on cooldown. Now for your melee. Look, if I ever tell you to use Solar, there is a 100% chance we're going to be using Throwing Hammer, because it is the best damn melee in the game. And then for your grenade, I went the more unconventional route. We're going to be using the Healing Grenade. This will allow us to trigger one of our super strong fragments while also keeping our allies in tip-top shape. Let's now talk about aspects. First up, we have Soul Invictus. Soul Invictus will allow our solar abilities and scorched target kills create sunspots. In these sunspots, our abilities will regen faster, and sunspots will also apply scorch to targets inside. And then if you enter the sunspot, you'll be applied restoration. In this build, we have a strong focus on scorching and abilities, making this fragment a no-brainer. And next up is Consecration. Consecration gives us a big old fiery slam attack that us Titans have been loving, which will not only scorch, but also ignite once you hit an enemy with the initial wave and the slam attack. I put a lot of focus of this build into melee recharge and scorch because I want the most fire slams possible. Now let's talk fragments. First up is Ember of Singeing, which will grant 400% additional base class ability regeneration rate for 3 seconds upon applying Scorch to an enemy that is not currently scorched. Every single enemy is going to be scorched in this build. allowing for an extremely quick uptime on our rocket barrage. Ember of Benevolence. Applying Restoration, Radiant, or Cure to allies grants 400% additional base grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration rate for 6 seconds. This is practically a baby Heart of the Moon's Light every single time you heal an ally. And this will be applied from our heal clip as well as the heal grenade, giving you a ton of ability uptime. Ember of Ashes increases the number of scorch stacks you apply to targets by 50% in most cases. This is a no-brainer, and I feel like I can't go a single solar build without suggesting this fragment. It is such an obvious choice when you're applying any amount of Scorch. And lastly, Ember of Searing. Killing scorched enemies spawns a fire sprite and grants melee ability energy. You would swear up and down this is a strictly ability region focused build if I didn't tell you otherwise. This is the perfect fit for yet another source of melee energy and grenade energy. Okay, now that we covered all of the subclass, let's go ahead and cover some mods. We're going to start with armor mods. On your helmet, you get a Solar Siphon and 2 special ammo finders. Solar Siphon is simple, Orbs of Power, and then rocket sidearms are going to act as primaries like I mentioned earlier, making it that much easier to get ammo. On your arms, you have Impact Deduction and 2 Heavy-Handed. This will allow for melee kills to generate Orbs of Power every 5 seconds instead of 10. And melee hits will grant 12% grenade energy. On your chest, I went 2 Solar Reserves. You gotta play it safe here. You gotta make sure you have tons of ammo for your parent action, and if you listened to my advice earlier and rocked the Solar Rocket Launcher, that gets the boost too. On your legs, we got Absolution and 2 times Solar Surge. Absolution is going to give you a little bit of energy to every single ability when you pick up an Orb of Power. 2 times Solar Surge will allow us to deal an additional 17% damage with our solar weapons. But remember, if you're playing an activity that already has a Solar Surge, then you do not need the Solar Surge mods because they do not stack, so feel free to change out the Solar Surges for some other Orb of Power mods. On your class item, we went with Outreach, Bomber, and Time Dilate. This will grant us a little energy on our grenade and melee every single time we use our class ability. And then Time Dilation is going to allow our armor charges to last 15 seconds instead of 10, which is going to be perfect for the Solar Surge. And then we have the Seasonal Artifact mods, aka the actually fun mods. In the second column, we have Logic Reductor. This will give you longer Radiolaria puddles, which is very good. For the third column, we have Elemental Siphon and Press the Advantage. We will now generate fire sprites from solar weapon kills and also gain increased reload speed from just breaking a shield, making this a no-brainer pick if you're running heal clip. In the fourth column, we have Radiant Orbs and Solar Fulmination. Being Radiant from just picking up orbs is too good to pass up on, and Solar Fulmination is a new perk that makes your ignition explosions deal roughly 25% more damage. Then to wrap it all up in the fifth column is Shield Crush. I've had this mod equipped all season, and in this build, we get yet another boost to our grenade recharge rate. And then of course, feel free to equip Sniper's Meditation if you're running double special, because that free damage is just too good this act, and I've been without a doubt using it a ton. Okay, that's going to wrap up this build for you. Go ahead and take this into your favorite piece of content and blow up absolutely everything. And hey, thank you so much for watching this. And if you are curious, I did fully script out and finish a review for the Apparent Action, but then I just chalked it up to being a really good gun and decided you don't need a 10th white dude with a mic to tell you that. See ya!